What is up, guys? This is Zach from AnglersEscape, and today I have something really exciting to show you guys. It's one of the first animated fully automatic fishing lures. And so I was contacted by a company called Animated Lure, and they said they'd send me two free lures just to kind of make a review video on it. Of course, I jumped at the chance because this is so revolutionary, or it has the potential to be so revolutionary. But basically there's a little motor inside the actual lure itself, and it's chargeable, and this propeller spins so it swims around real nicely. You just cast it out under a bobber, and I've already tested it out for about an hour and it still hasn't begun to die down. I'll go ahead and write in how long it ends up lasting, but after an hour it's still kicking strong. So here's the charger that came with it. Basically you hook the red lead to this little eyelet right here, the black lead or the negative lead to this eyelet down here. You plug it into your computer and it charges within about 90 minutes. And then so far it's lasted over an hour, but basically this thing swims real nicely. I'll go ahead and show you it. Drop it under a bobber usually to keep it off the bottom, and it takes 12 seconds once it hits the water for the propeller to kick in. And so I'll go ahead and cast it out there, and I'll try to keep it by the surface so you guys can see it start to swim around. So after I give it 12 seconds, it'll start swimming. I'm not doing anything, I'm just holding it here. Every once in a while it pauses and then it goes again. And I can also link you to their website, which shows more of these lures in action. But it's got a lot of, it really does look like a live fish. And the nice thing about it is you can just cast it out and let it sit. So this lure, guys, raises some interesting questions. For one, there's a lot of areas where you can't use natural bait. You can only use artificial lures. Technically, this would allow you to use multiple poles. So normally with artificial lures, you can only use one pole at a time. But this would allow you to cast one out, let it swim around, and then you could get a second pole and start fishing. It's a little bit big for crappie, and I hope one day to see some smaller like minnow type ones, and you'd never have to buy minnows again for crappie fishing. But definitely good for those larger bass and pike. I went to Minnesota and went some Boundary Waters canoeing and fishing, and these style of swim baits were doing excellent up there for the pike. And I could only imagine, like when we went to go set up our campsite, if just casting one of these things out and letting it swim while we set up the campsite or cook dinner, definitely catch some more pike. If you're interested in these lures, guys, they gave me a promotional code to use. It's AnglersEscape, one word. I'll go ahead and write it in and put it in the description. But basically it gives you free shipping if you're in the US, or $5 off international shipping. It's $25, and their website is www.animatedlure.com. It's a pretty cool idea, and maybe get one, try it out. It's up to you guys, but it is something that's pretty revolutionary. I've never seen one of these before. Again, I'm definitely going to show you how it works. I'll get some clear water in this pond. It's too murky to really see the lure's action very well. So right now I'm just sitting on the dock. I have this pole in the rod holder, and out there I've gone ahead and casted the lure, and you can see the bobber's just swimming around. So right now the bobber's underwater. It just popped back up. And that swim bait is actually taking the bobber down, swimming around, and then eventually it stops for just half a second, allows the bobber to float back up, and then changes direction. So it's very erratic motion. Again, the bobber's underwater right now because it's swimming with it. But I just have the lure a few feet under the bobber, and it swims around real nicely. And what I've noticed is it doesn't really move the bobber a whole lot from the same area. It doesn't just swim in circles, but it doesn't really bring the lure or the bobber in or out, so I don't really have to keep recasting it. It stays pretty close to the same area. Alright guys, so this lure, actually it's meant to pause every 3 seconds, and that gives it a half second to reset and then change directions, because you don't want the lure to just swim in a constant circle or just straight one direction. And so that's why it pauses for a half second so it can change direction. And when I cast it out, I find that it pretty much stays pretty close to the same spot. Maybe every 10 minutes I'll have to recast to get it in the spot that I want it in, but it's got great action, a good wobble. I hope you enjoyed this video, and this kind of opens your eyes to a new type of fishing lure, and thanks for watching.